if you think of the economy as a process of production, what you really want to do is you want to tax at the end stage. You want to tax at consumption. You don't want to tax at the stages in between, because if you tax, you lose that activity. You distort and you disincentivize that activity. So if you're anxious for people to produce things and go through this chain and get to the end and produce consumable goods, don't tax what's going on in the middle of it. And that is basically why you try to reduce taxes on income and put the taxes on consumptions. And we need to constantly remind ourselves why we're doing it, and that's really what we're after. So the other thing is you want the whole thing to be very simple and easy. Our recommendation for the Tax Council, I was so proud of the fact that you would have been able to do your Georgia State tax reform in 4 lines. And every time somebody comes and says, well, let's adjust this, let's try this, let's make a special exemption, or put a cap on this, I'm thinking 3 more lines on the form, 6 more lines on the form. And just imagine the effect on people in the state and in the economy if the tax reform is 4 lines. And you can get there, okay? And then fair treatment. We need to constantly look at these activities and make sure that they're getting treated the same way by the tax system. So you can't have, if one industry does it, they get one treatment. If another industry does it, they do another treatment. If one industry, like telecommunications, does it one way and somebody does it by cable rather than satellites, they get a different tax. You can't, because you distort the whole system when you do that, and it makes everything less efficient. Okay, Joel? Okay, so one of my scholarly efforts, and the thing that I just find fascinating, but I know it's really pretty geeky, is I'm very interested in good science and how it does or does not get into the realm of public policy. And I think some of my other speakers today will talk about the good science, and we have so much evidence that lower income taxes dramatically increase economic growth and employment. And some of our my fellow panelists will go over that, but the evidence is just absolutely overwhelming. It's good science to have pro-growth tax reform. It is good science. So let's think about, but the pro-growth tax reform is going to generate growth, and it's going to be in the future, and it's going to get bigger and bigger as time goes on. So let's talk about why that's a problem of getting that into public policy. And I think one of the big problems is the future, that we're trying to sell people on making some changes that they may or may not be convinced are good for them. They are trying to think about whether they're going to be a winner or a loser in the whole thing. And frankly, because we haven't sold it well, too many people think they're going to be losers, and they're just plain misinformed. And not enough people realize that they're going to be winners. But a big part of that is that the winners are going to come in over the longer term. And as an academic and as politicians, you all know that our level of trust in the community is not real high right now. So you can go out and tell people, we've done the numbers, we've got a study, you know, we promise you, we're going to stick to this, we're going to actually keep lowering rates and ratchet. Go tell them all you want, but I can't tell you, I speak about this all the time, and people will just say, I don't believe you, I don't trust you, I don't trust them. So that's the environment. It doesn't seem to be getting better, it seems to be getting worse, but that's what we have to deal with. That we're talking about people literally making an investment in their future, but they don't believe us when we tell them that the benefits are going to come. With tax reform, you're going to have winners and losers. But on the balance, and the more powerful the tax reform, you're going to have more winners. The problem is that people don't get it. They don't realize that they aren't convinced of it. So people who think they're going to be losers are going to scream loud and long. They're going to use all kinds of arguments, like the fact that the people who are winners are immoral, and they're trying to hurt the poor. Okay, so we've got to anticipate that the environment is inherently reactionary, and the environment is going to not want to move. And so legislators and executives who follow that call and don't meet the leadership challenge are just going to find ourselves falling farther and farther behind the legislators and the executives who do. So I'm saying moving forward requires exercising leadership, and we have to build consensus and support. How to do it. Get our act together, get our story straight, get our facts in line, build the evidence, sell the evidence. prove the long-term advantages. People who are winners are being told they'll be losers. Convince them that they're going to be winners in an era of distrust. We have politics in the age of information technology, social networking, and political grassroots activism. These people are engaged. They can be used. They can be relied upon. They just need to be given the correct information and access. So again, moving forward requires exercising leadership and providing support. So yes, the biggest problem is not the science. The science is absolutely clear. The growth potential for Georgia is huge. With North Carolina's recent changes, we're moving higher and higher in the rank of bad tax situations. And we need to bring ourselves back in order to stay competitive. The problem, as Walter said to me when we came in, the problem is the politics. And so we need leadership, but we also need to get out there and sell. And we have the truth, we have the good science on our side. So I think we've got to get ourselves together, go out there and do it.